Oh yeah, it's time for the package from China. Welcome guys, it's awesome that you're tuning in. So when you're looking at this device, I was more having a deja vu moment. I was thinking, hey, what the hell is going on over here? So I ordered myself the Hemi and I realized I have another one laying around in my storage space. It's kind of interesting that we have like two products having this similar, like say, outside. Or are they absolutely different? That's something I just wanted to check out today. So this thing is called basically like, this is the portable Pocket Nest console, but this is called, I have no idea by the way. Both of them will come including 88 games, I'm guessing more like the homebrew games, nothing really fancy. That's like the option to display your original Famicom cartridges, both of them. They do share some similar pictures, but the kind of funny is like both of them have like different languages. So today we're going to take a close look at both of them just to check it out. Are they any good or are they absolutely something you should avoid? I really love myself some, let's say, Famicom stuff, and when it can't play original games, how freaking cool is that? But this is basically the last one I've picked up, and the reason why, because this one was from Retroid, a very known like company who sells more like, let's say, more better quality products than your typical Chinese manufacturer. And Retroid, I must say, they did an amazing job when it comes to the colors or the theme itself. So when it comes also to the D-pad, like this thing has like a very nice angle to it. But the resistance of the D-pad is, oh boy, is a little bit too sturdy for my taste. Then we're having like A, B, and of course the turbo buttons, the reset, select and start. You have like the input for your cartridge. The dust cover feels a little bit cheap like always. AV out, there's no HDMI. The input for the power supply, so yeah, we can use basically an external power supply. And then we're having the battery compartment. This thing doesn't come with a built-in lithium battery or something like that. So they also call the Retroid the HG891. That's basically like the model number. And yeah, let's take a close look later on with the teardown. Let's put in some batteries and let's see what this freaking thing basically can do. Volume control, headphone jack, and here we're having the on and off switch. And yeah, that's the only thing that we're going to get. Messing around, I finally got myself some batteries that work. Oh man, that's like a nightmare with these things. So let's turn it on. And the first thing I've noticed, like the viewing angle is pretty damn bad. Like where you're also going to get with these cheap devices. So it's going to be fun recording this. So we come with 88 games. That's basically like the stuff they're doing nowadays. Not licensed games whatsoever so far. I can see like they're like, let's say, homebrew games whatsoever. So let's boot it up. We're going to get ourselves like Scan Zone. The tiny red dude with this freaking happy face, but actually every single time he jumps. And that's basically the stuff that comes on the side on this machine. Yeah. So resetting the system, we can choose a different game. Because this game actually called Kicking now. And that's basically what we're going to get with this. So basically the built-in games are not great at all. Like you just need to kick the axe. It's absolutely weird, to be honest. But of course we're going to take a close look at the future. Let's put in a cartridge itself. But let's try actually to play a game. What's kind of funny that they're reusing packaging. Simply because when you're looking at it, at the beginning I already said, like the books say that they both like play Famicom games. But when you're looking at the connector itself, you can just see we're having two different connectors. And the reason is very simple. This particular one will play your Famicom games. And this one will play your old school like huge games. That's kind of cool. So that is what we're going to do. Let's grab a huge cartridge. Like if you're looking at the cartridge itself, like they're getting ready. Oh, difficult to get out. But the size, we're looking at with the width, like the handheld is almost the same size when it comes to the cartridge. But right, it doesn't spoil the fun. Let's power on this bad boy and let's play some Super Mario. Doesn't do anything. Yep, doesn't do anything. Great. But of course I needed to clean the cartridge. The first thing that we're going to play is some puzzle games, but oh boy. It runs so really weird, like it runs way too fast. Also the sound itself is not like the original system itself. Well, when you're looking at the overall quality of the display now, it's not super bad. Ah crap, I messed it up. Let's try the different region cartridge. It's another Super Mario, but this time it's going to be like that special version. Everything sounds not that fast. But okay, so let's try a different game. Let's see what it can actually play more. But my Pocket, let's say NES player, doesn't support a flash card or doesn't boot up. A little bit of a bummer. Maybe this is because of the voltage. Maybe I need to use an like external voltage, basically adapter, to get enough juice. In the end, it doesn't matter. It doesn't boot up this way, so a little bit of a bummer. One thing is for sure, that every single Pal game runs way too fast. A little bit of a bummer in my opinion. But when it comes to the overall gameplay, I must say it's not super bad, especially when you're looking at everything how it plays. The bottom touch, it plays very well. And of course we can use the system like that. Alright, so that was basically the PAL system. So they have different regions, even they're reusing the freaking same, let's say, okay, there we go. If they can, they're just repeating themselves when it comes to the boxes. Let's get rid of the freaking batteries outside of the machine. Oh boy, putting these batteries in is absolutely like a pain in the butt. Alright, so let's get this thing on the show on the road. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why. So when it comes to the overall quality, it's nothing different compared with the other version. Of course, this one does play the Famicom games. So it's kind of interesting, they made just basically two different systems. Only with a different connector. Another thing I do notice, like when you're looking at the brightness of the display, it's not that like bright like the previous one. It doesn't have any, let's say, controlling function. They can make it brighter whatsoever. So there's a little bit of a bummer. What's kind of cool, that you can use actually like a multi-game card in these devices. Oh yeah, I got my ass kicked over here. But everything seems to be working just like it should be. The D-pad have exactly the same feel like the other model. So that works. Well, let's do a quick teardown and let's take a close look what is inside this machine. I must say that I was surprised to see that they actually are using the same kind of Famicom box, and they just like even like give it an extra, let's say, attention to just upgrade it, saying that this thing is actually like an NES player. But as you can see, like an overall quality, it's okay. It does play very nice, but putting these like gigantic cartridges in a machine like this makes no sense whatsoever. Of course, you can always use this thing like actually a system itself, playing your game that way. That's kind of cool, to be honest. So it's an extra feature if you're searching for a Famicom player and you just want to bring something with you. The unfortunate thing is that it doesn't come including an adapter. That would be so much better. Alright, let's remove the last freaking like Parker. And let's see what's inside this machine and when they also made this. Let's lift up the cover. I find that was quite interesting to see how they made this. So, alright, let's flip it around. I need to be very careful because they are using very cheap wires like always. Okay, here is stating basically like the model number and all the information. Okay, so there is one PCB over here that basically controls the AV out and the volume. Then over here there's one big PCB. The way how they made this, like basically stacking the third PCB on here, of course, because otherwise there is no way of like putting your game in. Production date, I think, here we're having something. So this thing is made in 2021. There is no information beside that, not a lot of information, but it's kind of cool to see what we're going to find in the inside. But what's kind of cool is if you want to implement this thing just like a Famicom or like NES player. So the only thing you need to do is putting the AV out cable, and of course over here is the power cable. I already mentioned before there is no adapter, and the reason is very simple. You just need like a 5-volt adapter. That's basically the only thing you need. You can turn it on and you can just actually play your games. That's quite cool, to be honest. Of course, if you remove the AV cable, it will go back to the display of the handheld and another way around. Alright, so the downside basically playing like this is that the cartridge sticks out, and if you accidentally bump it, it will just freeze the game. So that's quite unfortunate. The overall signal output of the AV out is not bad at all. I'm very surprised by this. The other downside to this cheap device is that we cannot add another controller. We have reviewed a couple of these handhelds. You can plug in your controller and can just play your Famicom games together with friends. But again, it's a very cool feature and seems to be working, and even on LCD we do get a very nice signal itself. But there you see, there are quite a lot of differences between the handhelds. You really need to be careful which one you're going to pick up. So one of those say comparisons I can do is very simple. We don't have even an input for the 5V I'm getting from the power supply. So this thing can only work on say the internal batteries, where this thing has the option for an AV out and also an input for DC. So it's kind of cool, to be honest. The overall quality, I do have this feeling the Retroid is a little bit slightly better, but again, I've been playing around with it for some time. When you're looking at the feel, we have some minor differences, but they're not bad at all. So one for Famicom, one for your NES games. Let me know in the comments what do you think of this. Thanks for watching, consider subscribing, and it would be great to see you in the next video.